And what a way for Ghanaian striker that is beating Thomas Asante to hand coach Frank Lampard his first win in charge of Coventry in the English Championship. We'll check that out, as well as Antoine Semenyo's assist that inspired Bournemouth to go and beat Newcastle in a 4-1 victory in the Premier League. We'll also talk about other Ghanaian players who were in action in the Premier League, the likes of Mohamed Kudus as well as Thomas Partey and Jordan Ayew, and how they performed for their respective clubs right here on Sports Update Ghana. But first, Everton coach that is David Moyes has confirmed that the club is interested in signing Ghanaian striker that is Ernest Nuamah. Earlier on this week, I brought you up to speed on updates that Ernest Nuamah was looking forward to join a club in the Premier League. Well, Everton were one of the clubs who was interested in signing the young Ghanaian striker. According to Coach David Moyes, well, they are looking forward to hopefully bring Ernest Nuamah to their team in the winter transfer window. Let's hear from Coach David Moyes.
And Ernest Nuamah, what can you tell us about the situation there? Because we understood that a deal was potentially on the table for him to come from Lyon, but obviously when you talk about playing catch-up, does he come into that category?
Well, he's a player who I know that we've been looking at, but I couldn't say to you for a minute that I think it's done or it's underway. I'm only, unless something's happening, I don't know. But at the moment we're looking at some players. He's one of them. We need players at the moment who we think can help us in the Premier League, and we're positioned. But we're also hoping that we could buy players for the future as well. You know, so if there's something that we could get, which we think we hopefully it's going to be here for 4 or 5 years or longer, and doing well for the team. But trying to get that in January, it'd be difficult. You know, if I had been in the hot seat for a lot longer, you would have been definitely saying, hey, you had more time to see it. I think coming in very quickly makes it quite difficult to sort of get on top of all the players, what's getting put to you.
So that is David Moyes confirming Everton's interest in Ernest Nuamah, the Ghanaian striker, and Everton are really struggling in the Premier League. And when Ernest Nuamah decides to join, it will be a good booster to the team. And away from transfer, let's talk about how some Ghanaian players perform for their respective clubs in England. And let's start off from the lower tier of the English League, and that is the English Championship, where Coventry came up against Bristol City, and it was Ghana's striker, that is Thomas Asante, who scored the lone goal in the game to hand Frank Lampard his first win in charge of Coventry City. It was such a tight game, but in the 60th minute, that was when Ghanaian striker that is Thomas Asante was able to find the back of the net to hand Coventry their first 3 points with coach Frank Lampard in charge. Well, how did the Ghanaian striker manage to score this goal? Thomas Asante found himself in the box where he was passed the ball by his teammates, and he shot the ball into the roof of the net to get the only goal of the game for Coventry as they beat Bristol City in that particular match in the Championship. So coach Frank Lampard has finally recorded his first win in charge of Coventry. Now, away from the Championship, let's elevate and come to the English Premier League, because that was where Ghanaian striker that is Antoine Semenyo continued his superb performance for his team Bournemouth in the Premier League. Well, Bournemouth came up against Newcastle, and it was a game that everyone thought that Newcastle were going to win, but little did they know that Bournemouth would cause a surprise to them. Well, Ghanaian striker that is Antoine Semenyo was the one who inspired Bournemouth to score the first goal, and it was courtesy his effort which pushed the ball into the box for him to set up his teammate Clivett to score the first goal in the game for his team Bournemouth. Well, the goal was scored around the 6th minute, and after the goal was scored, Newcastle equalized, but that equalizer was what encouraged Bournemouth to go ahead and score 3 more goals to beat Newcastle by 4-1 at their home. Yes, Newcastle were playing home and they lost the game to Bournemouth in that particular fashion. And I must say, Bournemouth's young coach is really doing a phenomenal work at Bournemouth, because I never expected them to go and beat Newcastle, and we all know how Newcastle have performed this season. In fact, beating Arsenal and all that doesn't come easily, but Bournemouth have been able to turn the tables to their side, and they've now beaten their opponents over there. Now, With the current assist that Antoine Semenyo has provided, he has taken his goal contribution tally upwards. Currently in the Premier League, the Black Star striker has 6 goals and 3 assists in the Premier League. But when you add his goal and assist in the FA Cup, Antoine Semenyo currently has 11 goal contributions, giving him 7 goals and 4 assists in a total of matches that he has played for Bournemouth this season. And away from him, let's talk about Arsenal's game against Aston Villa, because Arsenal were nearly running away with a 3-2 win when the VAR denied them a goal which was scored by Kai Havertz, and so the game ended up 2-2 as Arsenal drew against their former coach Unai Emery, who was managing Aston Villa. Ghanaian captain that is Thomas Partey was in action for Arsenal in this game and was played as a right back in the game. Well, Arsenal's coach, that is Mikel Arteta, I don't know what's wrong. I don't know why he doesn't want to play Thomas Partey mostly in midfield and plays Declan Rice in midfield and chooses to play Ghanaian captain, that is Thomas Partey, at the right back position. But Arsenal is really going through a lot, and I don't want to believe that it's because of Bukayo Saka that they are struggling, but because of coach Mikel Arteta's stubbornness, and probably they are deemed to become second to the best teams in the Premier League. But Arsenal would have to beef up their performance if they want to go ahead and win the Premier League. Now, away from Arsenal, let's talk about West Ham United, because what is happening to West Ham United? They came up against Crystal Palace at home, and West Ham United were shown a red card and ended up playing the game with 10 men and lost to Crystal Palace by 2-0. Since taking charge of West Ham United, coach Graham Potter has not been able to inspire West Ham to win any game. Well, Ghanaian attacker that is Mohamed Kudus was in action for West Ham throughout the entire 90 minutes, and this time coach Graham Potter decided to play Mohamed Kudus up front as the lone striker in the game, and unfortunately things didn't go as planned, so they ended up losing the game by 2-0 to Crystal Palace. An unfortunate turn of events for Mohamed Kudus and his team, that is West Ham United. Now let's wrap it all up with Leicester's game against Fulham, and coach Ruud Van Nistelrooy once again took charge of the Foxes in their game against Fulham in the Premier League. It was such a tough game, but Fulham ended up beating Ruud Van Nistelrooy's team, that is Leicester City. Ghana's striker, that is Jordan Ayew, started in the game but was later substituted in the 70th minute as Leicester City struggled to create opportunities to score a goal in the game. So it was such a tough day in office for Ghanaian players such as Thomas Partey, Mohamed Kudus and Jordan Ayew, but the likes of Antoine Semenyo as well as Braden Thomas Asante had good day in office with their respective clubs in the Premier League as well as the Championship. Well, on that note, we wrap up here on Sports Update Ghana. Thanks for doing the watching. I'll see you in the next one. Please do subscribe, like, share, and don't forget to leave a comment. I'm out for now.